Well, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump is taking headlines away from the Democratic convention this week by appearing to ask Russian intelligence agencies to hack Democrat Hillary Clinton's emails in order to find 30,000 messages missing from a personal server that Clinton used to conduct official business as Secretary of State. Joining us now to help put some perspective on all this is John Iannarelli, and he is a retired FBI special agent and former head of FBI cyber investigations in Arizona. John Iannarelli, good to have you here. What exactly happened to these Democratic Party emails?
Well, it looks like some entity, it might have been a rogue state, it could have been a private hacker, but somebody got a hold of these emails that were sent out over a period of time, and now they're sharing them for the purpose it appears to be to embarrass the Democratic Party.
How do you get a hold of these things? How do you hack something like this?
Not very difficult to do at all. Anything that we have these days, whether it's encrypted or not, there is software out there that you can hack into computer systems. I may not necessarily go into your computer, but maybe I'm going to go into the server, the service that you're getting your email from, and look at the information from there. Democratic Party, it's pretty easy because it's going to be marked Democratic Party.
So I was going to say, what kind of if I'm a hacker, what kind of information do I need if I want to hack X, Y, and Z?
If you want to hack into a particular person's account, really nothing more than a little social engineering. Maybe I'm going to go to your LinkedIn, I'm going to get some information so that will help me decide how I'm going to target the account. People aren't very complex when they put passwords together, and that's the real danger. More times than not, it's that simple. Other times it's malware, like in the Sony hack. People think it was this real convoluted, difficult thing from South Korea. It was nothing more than a scam. Somebody clicked on a link. Next thing you know, North Korea got into that email.
My goodness. Okay, so we know someone has done this. How difficult to track down who did it?
Well, the FBI, which is the primary agency that deals with these types of hacks, they're very good. They've got some really sharp people who work computer crimes. The problem is, even if you track them down, are they in a country that we have reciprocity with? We can't convict them over here in the United States unless they bring them back here, which means we'd need to get that country to cooperate.
And you're talking about countries here. How often do countries hack into other countries?
Well, the individual hackers may be in another country, but just as frequently, we see foreign countries, both our enemies and our friends. There's a lot of spying that goes on in the world, and it's not uncommon that even a friendly country will be probing our systems to see what's out there and what they can find.
If you catch France hacking into American government systems or something along these lines, I mean, what do they say? What's done diplomatically? That seems like an embarrassing situation.
Well, it can be, and that's why the government, the State Department, they get involved. There's all sorts of communications go back and forth, but in the world of politics, a lot of that is how the world operates. The real danger is the countries like Iran, North Korea, etc., those that want to do us harm, that are hacking into our systems. That's what we have to protect against.
What about Russia? Is Russia a big player when it comes to hacking?
Russia and the former Russian mob that has now moved out of violence more into cybercrime, there is a ton of money to be made. And it's a lot easier to rob a bank with a computer than with a gun.
Would it surprise you if A, they found out that this was Russian influenced, and B, you found out that it was Russian mob influenced?
It would not surprise me at all, but just as likely, it might very well be China, or it could be any other country that's out there, because we are hacked and attempted hacks by all such countries.
How often do we hack other countries?
Realistically, the U.S. government has policies against doing those sort of things, and I would tell you from the FBI side, there would be serious punishment for anybody engaged. But there are private hackers, private citizens that do this all the time.
I seem to remember the U.S. and maybe Israel hacking into Iran's nuclear program to kind of throw the whole thing haywire a while back. So this thing does happen. I mean, it sounds like it's just one spy versus spy thing happening out there.
That is where the wars are going to be fought in the future. It's very easy to go out and get a gun, but how much damage can you really do? Now, here in Arizona, if I'm going to shut down the electricity during the summer where you don't have air conditioning, access to gasoline, your banking accounts, that can do some real damage. That's what these foreign countries that are our adversaries are trying to do.
So they're trying to do this. Are we up to speed in terms of cybersecurity?
There's always room for improvement. We have some very talented people doing this, but technology changes so quickly, so exponentially, that as soon as we find one answer, there's another problem.
I was going to ask about this. I mean, if you work on a case, it seems to me by the time you're done working on the case, the method of hacking and the method of technology, these things could have changed exponentially.
Absolutely. And so what the FBI is always doing is bringing on fresh talent, young recruits who are fresh on the cyber scene, out of college with their degrees, who we can throw at these sort of problems. We also contract out to a lot of the big companies that are the 10-gallon brains in the cyber world, that we can have them look at malware and look at computer code so that the agents with guns can go out on the street and do the job.
Is that a tough sell? I mean, we all know what kind of salaries these kids and young people can make in Silicon Valley and elsewhere. That seems like that's pretty rough.
Well, I will tell you, no one joins the FBI for the money, or the federal government in general. They join the FBI because it's a job unlike anything else, where you're going to see things people will never get an opportunity to see. A lot of people who come to us forego those big salaries because they know I've got a front row seat to the world that nobody else is ever going to have.
You mentioned in the past that the next wars will be very much cyber oriented. I mean, are we prepared for that? I mentioned whether or not we have cybersecurity. That's one thing. Are we prepared in case all these systems shut down, the cloud goes away, if you will?
I believe we are. The FBI has a private partnership with the public sector referred to as InfraGard. All different entities involving critical infrastructure. They meet on a regular basis. Here in Arizona, we have nearly 2,000 members of InfraGard from all over the state, where we get together, we discuss the issues, we share what we see, and likewise, we prepare to keep ourselves safe.
Before you go, real quickly, Donald Trump saying he hopes Russia hacks, will do another hack and release the Clinton emails, hopes Russia penetrates U.S. servers. I mean, there's some are saying this is tantamount to treason. Is it tantamount at least to a threat to U.S. security?
Well, as a former FBI agent, as an attorney, I could tell you it doesn't even come close to the elements of a crime. But considering both the Democrats and Republicans have enough issues when it comes to emails these days, I suggest it's a subject they should probably just stay away from throwing stones.
Yeah, and real quickly, if the he wants whoever's hacking to give this information to the FBI. If the FBI received information from people illegally hacking into American corporations, organizations, whatever, what does the FBI do?
We would take that information, the FBI would work with it and try to track down who is doing what for what. That happens all the time. People with information, sources, come to the FBI, and that's how we catch some of these hackers out there.
So the information would not be poo-pooed just because it came from perhaps a hacker doing something illegally?
No, actually, hackers doing things illegally, or any criminal doing something illegally, is the way law enforcement gets information.
Very good. Great information. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Great to be here. Thank you for your time.